Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming to this symposium today in spite of busy schedule. We would now like to start the first SPF Defense Dialogue, Enhancing Japan's Defense Capabilities and Challenges Beyond 2027, hosted by the Sasakawa Peace Foundation and supported by the Ministry of Defense. Let me introduce myself. I'll be serving as MC today. I am Shibayama, researcher who belongs to a Security Studies program of the foundation. Today, we are going to have Honorable Honda Taro, State Minister of Defense, to give a keynote speech to talk about enhancement of Japan's defense capabilities and challenges beyond 2027. And then there will be a panel discussion moderated by Admiral Tomohisa, former Chief of Staff of JMSDF, currently Senior Fellow at our foundation, and we will have a panelist from the Ministry of Defense and Self-Defense Forces, and the question and answer follow. There is a change to the program. Direct DG of Defense Policy Bureau will not be able to participate. Therefore, Director of Defense Policy Division Matsuo Tomohiko will be speaking as a panelist today. We are going to end the program at 5 o'clock, but depending on how we proceed, there will be some delay. I ask for your kind understanding. And also, once again, let me remind you that you will not be able to film, make an audio recording, and take screenshots or secondary use of materials and posting on social media and video sharing are all prohibited. Also, regarding question and answer session, let me explain how you can ask questions. We have question form. We will collect your questions and comments using the questionnaire form distributed at the reception. We will not accept questions through the raise of hand. And if you have questions or comments, please access question form through QR code or URL shown on the sheet distributed and submitted by 4:15. Lastly, to the media people, we have a request for your cooperation. During the symposium, the picture taking for media purpose is accepted. However, the keynote address and also while the panelists are speaking, please refrain from taking photos, video shooting. Now, before we start the program, let me invite Dr. Sunami Atsushi to give an opening remarks. I hand over to you, Dr. Sunami. I am Sunami, President of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. It is a great pleasure for the Sasakawa Peace Foundation to host the first SPF Defense Dialogue, Enhancing Japan's Defense Capabilities and Challenges Beyond 2027 in cooperation with the Ministry of Defense. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to the members of the audience and the leaders of the Ministry of Defense who will be speaking today. The international security environment is currently facing the most challenging period after the war. The existing order is seriously challenged, and we are entering a new era of crisis. The security environment surrounding Japan is also the most severe and complex it has ever been since the end of the war. Against this backdrop, the government formulated the so-called three security documents: the National Security Strategy, National Defense Strategy, and Defense Build-Up Program in 2022. Based on this new national defense strategy, the government is working to fundamentally strengthen defense capabilities with a timeline set for 2027 and 2035. On the other hand, with a declining birth rate and aging population, as well as yen's weakening and the rising cost of goods pushing up the prices of defense equipment, the environment for the development of Japan's defense capability is becoming increasingly uncertain. In this environment, what specific issues need to be addressed in order to realize three security documents? This symposium will feature a keynote address by Honorable Honda Taro, State Minister of Defense, who will be speaking about the strengthening of Japan's new defense capabilities and challenges beyond 2027. And a panel discussion and Q&A session will follow the keynote speech with Admiral Takei Motohisa, who is Senior Fellow at our foundation, as moderator, who is the Chief of Staff of the JSDF in the past. And the panelists will feature Mr. Matsuo Tomohiko, Director of Defense Policy Division, in place of Mr. Yamato Taro, Director of the Bureau of Defense Policy. And also we are going to have the major generals from the staff officers of three services. The detail of the speakers will be introduced by Admiral Takei later on. Now, through this symposium, I sincerely hope that you'll be able to have a better understanding about the defense capability, which is a key to defense reform. If that happens, that will give us a biggest pleasure. Now, Sasakawa Peace Foundation aims to contribute to world and regional peace and stability. With that goal in mind, since we recognize that symposiums like this has never been held in Japan, we hope that this symposium will be an opportunity for you to deepen your understanding about Japan's defense in the midst of confusing security environment. With that brief note, I would like to conclude my opening remarks. Thank you very much. Dr. Sunami, thank you very much. Now, at this point in time, I would like to welcome keynote speaker, Honorable Taro Honda, Senior State Minister of Defense. Please welcome Minister with a big round of applause.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I am Taro Honda, State Minister of Defense. I am so grateful to Sasakawa Peace Foundation for giving me this opportunity to deliver my speech. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been 3 years since the cabinet decision on 3 new strategic documents which came up with a radically enhanced defense capability. Our basic perception regarding the situation at the time of creating this document, as well as the direction toward radical enhancement, is unchanged. Nevertheless, 2 years have elapsed. So I'd like to give my talk introducing the situational change since the drafting of that document and the progress status of radical enhancement of defense. Now, first, as you know, Japan is placed in the very front line of the most severe and complex security environment in the post-war period. China continues its vigorous military activities and increases its defense spending at a high level and is augmenting its military power broadly and rapidly without sufficient transparency. In the area surrounding Senkaku Islands, which is an inherent territory of ours, last year, on 355 days, almost every day, we are confirming the activities of Chinese naval patrol boats in the contiguous water. Also, there are frequent flights of Chinese military planes at Nansei Islands. On the Pacific Ocean, carrier-based fighter planes are repeating landing and taking off. To add to this, Last year, in August, the Chinese military planes violated our territorial air, and in September, Chinese naval carrier navigated in the area close to our territorial waters. Such incidences are happening in a short span of time, one after another, in areas surrounding our territorial sea and air, which is causing a strong sense of crisis among us. Between Yonaguni Island and Taiwan, the distance is only 110 kilometers. On a fine day, the other side is clearly visible. China is invigorating its coercive military activities surrounding Taiwan. Furthermore, in the South China Sea, which is an important sea lane for our country, since 2014, China is conducting large-scale and rapid reclamation, trying to render this place a military base. Such Chinese external posture and military behavior are serious matters of concern for us and for the international community in securing peace and safety for us and for the global community and fortifying international order under the rule of law. The three documents position these matters as unprecedented maximum strategic challenge. On DPRK, they are developing nuclear weapons and a plethora of missiles, including ones where Japan is within the range. Since last year, North Korean soldiers are taking part in Russia's aggression to Ukraine. What is given to North Korea in return will have an important impact on our security. Ministry of Defense at a variety of fora asserted that the situation of Europe is connected to that of Asia, and indeed it is happening in reality. As a footnote, I would think that we need a little more time to observe on the question of how North Korea is going to approach new administration in the U.S. Even on Russia, even during the aggression to Ukraine, Russia continues the vigorous military activities on the sea and air surrounding Japan. In particular, on September 23rd last year, 3 times the Russian patrol planes violated our territorial air above our territorial sea at the northern Lebanon Island, Hokkaido. To this, SDF acted with daring resolve, such as making flare warning for the first time. We also note that China and Russia are enhancing their military collaboration. On the same day, September the 23rd, 8 vessels of China and Russia passed Soya Strait. On the southern front, last year in July, Chinese and Russian naval ships conducted joint exercise in the South China Sea, passing through East China Sea through Osumi Strait. And in November last year, Chinese and Russian military planes conducted joint flight for the 9th time, passing through Tsushima Strait and between Okinawa Main Island and Miyakojima Island. Notwithstanding such Russo-Chinese collaboration, it is of our interest to read how China views at Russia-North Korea collaboration. It is also possible that China is concerned about whether Russia is providing sophisticated military technology to North Korea or not. While among the 3 nations, it seems that they maintain amicable cooperative relations, it is worth paying our attention to how the respective relations evolve and whether tripartite cooperation is possible in the context of the regional situation as a whole, including the Korean Peninsula. This is the reality of security environment surrounding us at present. As such, as I described, while the security environment surrounding Japan is increasingly more severe, 13th of January, Minister Nakatani had the telephone talk with Secretary Hegseth of Defense, Pentagon, and they reaffirmed that they would work together for the furtherance of deterrence and response capabilities of Japan-U.S. alliance. On the 7th of February, Japan-U.S. summit was held, and the leaders were able to show to the global community unshakable unity of the alliance. As for Japan, we wish to continuously endeavor to elevate this alliance to a new height. That is of our view. In this context, we must protect our It is our national interests, such as peace and security, as well as prosperity of Japan and safety of the citizens. We must protect them. To this end, I don't have to emphasize the importance of diplomatic efforts. At the same time, the ultimate collateral for national security is the defense capability. Looking at the reality of the international community, this function cannot be substituted with other means. The thinking of the government is that with the radical enhancement of our defense capability, we shall strengthen our own deterrence and response capability, and furthermore, by strengthening collaboration with our allies like the United States and other like-minded countries, we could lower the likelihood of armed attacks, thereby building a solid system to protect fully the lives and peaceful livelihood for our citizens. In an event of aggression to our country, enhanced defense capability has to be such that it could deter and eliminate such act while Japan taking the primary responsibility. It means that our country has an ability to make adversary realize that such military aggression against Japan is not achievable and is not worth the cost of the damage incurred. We have to have that ability. By doing this, we will not let adversary underestimate Japan and overestimate their own ability. Here, I would like to, so it will lead into the enhanced deterrence capability of our country. Here, I would like to explain some vital points as examples of where the enhancement is moving toward, some salient points. Allow me to offer some explanation. Firstly, on standoff defense capability. Against ships and landing forces invading our nation, including islands, we need long-range missiles to cope with from outside the zone of threat. MOD is working on this matter with a variety of measures. In fiscal 2025, deployment of SDF of Tomahawk and domestically produced improved version of Type 12 surface-to-ship guided missiles began, which will visibly improve SDF's own standoff defense capability. In addition, for the purpose of obtaining ability to detect and trail targets, from the end of fiscal 2025, we will commence building satellite constellations. This will play a role as eyes to see things, as eyes to facilitate standoff missiles operation. Next, I'd like to talk about defense capability of unmanned asset. Compared with conventional assets, unmanned assets have characteristics such as human attrition could be minimized, and it is possible for long-term operation and possible for acquisition quickly at lower price. We consider that they can be utilized in broad areas such as application at the new phase of the warfare to better efficiency in the operation that had been done by manned assets. Because of this, we will be promoting the unmanned vehicles to be introduced to all domains of land, sea, and air, thereby using them effectively in broad tasks such as information gathering, patrol and surveillance, and fighter support. Furthermore, on sustainability and resilience. One of the highest priorities of MOD is to put equipment we own now to the maximum level of usage. Hitherto, war sustainability of SDF was not necessarily sufficient in terms of the number of munitions and other equipment. In the present version of the three documents, it is drafted in such a way to ensure and maintain necessary and sufficient war sustainability so as to face up with the reality to enable SDF operating with tenacity and to serve as an effective deterrence. At present, we are making efforts to enhance ability to produce ammunitions and to secure gunpowder storage. We will also aim at establishing urgently a system whereby all equipment not even covered by the plan would be available for action. SDF members are the core of defense capability. recruiting SDF members is difficult. In fiscal 2023, we were able to recruit only half of the plan, only 10,000 people. While in the private sector, too, there is a serious problem of labor shortage, we are aware that strengthening human base in SDF is an urgent challenge. In view of the situation in the Cabinet Conference on improving treatment and work environment of SDF men and women and lifelong career plans for them, chaired by Prime Minister Ishiba, discussion took place at a high frequency, and in December last year, it came up with the basic policy on improving the treatment of SDF members. Going forward, we shall follow up and promote the measures laid out in the basic policy to make sure its effectiveness. In March this year, the JMSDF Joint Operational Command is to be established in Ichigawa, JJOC. With this, we will have an integrated operational SDF system whereby from normal times, our forces would be under the integrated command. So effectiveness would be enhanced. Defense and technology infrastructure is indispensable to secure stably R&D, production, and procurement of defense equipment in our own country. By making defense industry more attractive with ensuring appropriate profits, we shall build a strong and sustainable defense industry. That is our hope. Also, regarding defense infrastructure, technology infrastructure too, we will proactively introduce civilian state-of-the-art technology, incorporate early into our system, and maintain and fortify human and technology infrastructure. In order to realize such defense capability in a steadfast way, we need to ensure firmly necessary budget. To this end, in our plan to enhance our defense capability, the Cabinet decided to secure budget to the tune of 43 trillion yen in 5 years from fiscal 23. MOD is of the view that within the scope of this amount, we need to realize steadily the radical strengthening of our defense capability. Our country is placed under the most severe and complex security environment in the post-war era, I said at the outset of my remarks. The future course of international community does not warrant any optimism. In this context, for protecting lives and peaceful livelihood of the citizens, we need to face this reality squarely and to strengthen radically our country's defense capability. That is what we need. We will realize measures steadily that the three documents show, with strong resolve that our security and defense policies henceforward are directly connected with the peace and stability of our nation and of the whole world. That is the resolve with which MOD and SDF are working. Going forward, I hope that you will render your understanding and cooperation to MOD and JSDF. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening with a lot of attention to my opening keynote speech. Thank you very much.
Minister Honda, thank you very much. The Honorable Honda will be leaving at this point in time. Please give him a big round of applause. Now, at this point in time, we would like to start a panel discussion. Mr. Matsuo, Director of Defense Policy Division, GSDF Major General Minamikawa, GSDF Major General Shirakawa, Rear Admiral Hirata, and ASDF Major General Kubota, and I hand over to Admiral Takei to serve as a moderator.
皆さんこんにちは。
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Takei, former Chief of Staff of JMSDF, retired. As was introduced, this dialogue is the first attempt as this foundation. I am speaking here not from a former SDF officer, but from one of the citizens. I'd like to promote the dialogue. But we may be using some technical terms. Please bear with us. Dear panelists, a lot of audience today are not in the defense sector. So I hope that you will use easy to understand words and please speak slowly in a relaxed manner. First, I'd like to introduce panelists. It was a short notice, and despite the fact these people, 5 people, agreed to come to this event. From the right-hand side, Mr. Matsuo, who is the Director of Defense Policy Division, Mr. Minamikawa, Joint Staff Policy and Program Department, GSO, Mr. Shirakawa of the Ground Self-Defense, JS, Mr. Hirata of Maritime Defense Force, and Mr. Kubota, the Defense Planning and Policy Department, ASO. The detailed VCs are available at the entrance. So the panelists will speak for about 7 minutes each regarding the important items of the budget for 25 as well as the challenges looking toward the fiscal 27. Budget is being deliberated and maybe there may be changes from the government proposal. So to the extent possible, please speak to us. At the end of your presentations, I will ask several questions regarding your presentation and you will respond. And at the end of that, as time permitting, we will have questions from the participants and you will answer these questions. All questions cannot be addressed, I know, because time is limited. So we have some time for networking and exchange of business cards. So I hope that you can pose your questions on that occasion. First, the explanation on the budget for 25. What are the priorities and what are the challenges toward 2027? If you read the pamphlet of MOD regarding the budget, in the beginning, things are proceeding as planned, it says. As State Minister Honda mentioned, there are 7 areas that the emphasis is made. So I will ask Mr. Matsuo, what is the entire picture of the budget? Please explain.
Thank you very much. At the outset, today DG Yamato was supposed to attend, but unfortunately, due to public duty, he was not able to make it. So on his behalf, I am speaking. Matsuo is speaking on his behalf. First of all, this year, 2025, the Ministry of Defense has a 5-year defense build-up program. So this is a 5-year cycle. So in 2025, which starts in April, that fiscal year would be the midpoint of this 5-year program. As Admiral Takei said, within this 5-year period, we have to fundamentally strengthen our defense capabilities. And I think we are making steady progress as planned. All in all, I would like to talk about the future prospects. Earlier, as State Minister said in his speech, that Japan is facing extremely difficult security environment, particularly China, North Korea, Russia are aspiring to become military superpower. They are becoming militarily so active. So Japan is at the forefront of such situation in that sense. So the military trend surrounding Japan and also future technological development prospects was the basis of the 2022 National Security Strategy, National Defense Strategy, and defense build-up program. We call them Strategy 3 documents. We formulated these documents based on which the Ministry of Defense is now fundamentally improving our defense capabilities. So the uppermost document is a national security strategy. Maybe some of you have read it. In the beginning, we say that it is important to pursue diplomatic efforts in order to prevent other countries from resorting to armed forces. Therefore, in peacetime, we have to deter wars through diplomatic efforts. So based on that, if we fail to deter, then Japan should be responsible for its own defense. Not surprising, and that is why we are trying to fundamentally increasing our defense capabilities to prepare for any kind of scenarios. And the pathway forward is identified in the national defense strategy for that. And we analyzed Russia's aggression of Ukraine and identified the reasons why we could get drawn into a war, for instance. And there should be will and military capabilities for a war to happen. Even if a country has a military prowess, if there is no will, there will be no war. However, in the case of Russia's aggression of Ukraine, country was capable at the same time, and the intention was there. Intention can differ from time to time. However, as long as you have capability, you can go to a war anytime. In order to counter this, we have to be strengthening military defense capabilities even in peacetime, and also cooperate with international community and allies and partners. In the national defense strategy, based on these lessons, we have 3 approaches to realize our defense objectives. That is strengthening of our own defense capabilities, and also Japan-U.S. alliance's deterrence and response capability needs to be strengthened in cooperation with like-minded countries. And our defense capability strengthening is the theme of the today's symposium. And under the National Defense Strategy and also Defense Build-Up Program, we are trying to fundamentally improve our defense capabilities. In order to strengthen our capabilities, we identified 7 areas of priority: standoff defense capability and other new areas. In any case, we have 7 priority areas. Every year, we secure a necessary budget. And briefly, the brief explanation was given by the State Minister earlier. So the key to the strengthening of defense capability is a significant increase of defense budget. For many years in Japan, since the inception of the Ministry of Defense, we have been increasing our defense capability. However, for many years, as a percentage of GDP, our budget for defense was about 1% or so. However, from fiscal 2023 through 2027, for 5-year period, 43 trillion yen will be spent. If we include security-related expenditure outside of the SDF's budget, in 2027, it will be 2% of GDP. Through significant increase of defense budget, in many areas, we will be able to realize defense capabilities, standoff defense capability, and the unmanned asset defense capability. These are relatively new areas for us, and also integrated air and missile defense capability and cross-domain operation capabilities. These conventional areas have to be strengthened and expanded as well. So we are doing broad-ranging things. One thing I would like to emphasize is that we are also focusing on procurement of ammunition and maintenance of equipment, and also improvement of decent facilities. These are the infrastructure for operational activities. For instance, even if we have equipment, if there is a part shortage, the equipment cannot operate. Therefore, we are going to eliminate such a possibility so that troops can fully demonstrate their capabilities. We will improve obsolete facilities, and we are going to make the units to perform fully in those facilities. So we put a budget in these areas, and that will lead to a strengthening of SDF's ability, and I'm sure that DGs of each staff office know that. And as an internal bureau responsible for defense policy and planning at the ministry, we are going to make further efforts to implement our plans steadily. I would like to make a publicity. Today in the audience, there is a table, and we have outreach materials on display. As State Minister mentioned earlier, we are trying to recruit SDF personnel, which is facing quite a big challenge. And we have to see the population trend of Japan, and also the private sector is also competing with us for recruits. Therefore, we are facing a difficulty. Therefore, last year, under the Prime Minister Ishiba's initiative, relevant ministers assembled to discuss how best we can recruit SDF personnel and to give a pride to those working in the ministry, and those who are retiring earlier, they should be able to lead a stable social life. And the government as a whole made a decision for that to happen, and recruitment-related effort and other efforts are described in brochures available on the table. So please take a copy when you go back.
Thank you very much, Matsuo-san. In a variety of areas, defense capability is strengthened, and many things are acted upon. And you have mentioned that you are enhancing the infrastructure. Also, upon your return, I hope that you will take back some of the materials. Now, from the viewpoint of joint staff, Minamikawa-san, please share your views with us. Thank you very much. I am Minamikawa. I'm from joint staff. The theme given to me is the budget for 27, priorities therein, as well as the challenges looking toward the 27, fiscal 27. Before entering into the actual theme, I would like to talk about the characteristics of joint staff. Simply put, earlier on, the defense capability enhancement is in charge by those executive officers of the staff of 3 services. The comprehensive approach is given by the joint staff, for example, tanks and ammunitions. So for the budget for enhancing defense capability is not demanded by joint staff. So now looking toward 27 budget, what are the budget requests that we are making? As for joint staff, we would like to enhance the efficacy of the operation. That is something that we are demanding from the budget. As other people have mentioned, the priorities are 7 areas. In terms of money amount, big one would be the command and control management and cross-domain operational performance. The budget related to these would comprise the main body of the budget. To be more specific, for budget 27, budget 25 is what we are asking is the central command and communication, as well as a cloud, cyber-related upgrading and improvement. Budget items regarding these would occupy most of the budget. So the overall 300 billion is the amount, and about 200 billion would be occupied by those items that I described to you. Why are we attaching a great importance to these items? Largely, there are 2 pillars to describe this. The one is that at the end of this fiscal year, shortly, we will be establishing JJOC, and the operational efficacy has to be improved. To that end, we need those budget items. The second item is that from the end of fiscal 25, standoff operation is going to begin, and we have to have the defense system and mechanism to enable that. That is an urgent matter. And also looking toward the 2027, there will be various challenges. The first is the efficacy of the JJOC command. So upon the minister's instruction, under the instruction and command of the commanding officers, in normal times, we will have the centrally managed command office, headquarters. And by establishing this from normal times, we will be able to cope with the situation in a seamless manner. Even in a time of contingency, command can perform a solid function. In order to enable that, MOD, the whole of the ministry is preparing for the establishment. Even after the establishment of JJOC, regarding daily operations and daily exercises and trainings would be upgraded so that the SDF members' capacity and capability would be improved. I think that is what we need. So that is the first challenge. The second is the standoff defense operation. The operating system must be in place. Standoff missile operation for information gathering and the allocation of the targets to various forces. It has to be centrally managed and centrally integrated. So we need to have the integrated system in a joint way. So let me give you more in detail. In order to have the effective operation, missiles will have to be in good shape, but the target has to be detected and identified, trailed, and then this decision to launch and then execute, and then assessment has to be made. It is a flow of events. This flow has to be established. So Hill wave will have to be in place in the future. Q chain is necessary. At the JJOC, the centrally managed command will come. So in order to do that, the strategic planning and integrated software has to be upgraded. So these are the challenges looking toward the 2027. We will work on those challenges continuously. We will work on it so that it can radically enhance our defense capability. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minamikawa-san. Two major pillars you have just confirmed. The effectiveness of the joint operation commands and also standoff defense capabilities. Kill chain, some of you may not know, after capturing the target, the Prime Minister has to give an order and launch a missile. And after hitting the target, what happens? This is a series of actions called kill chain. It's called kill chain. However, it is a flow of command and control. And this is going to be very much improved in the future. Now, from the Grand Staff Office, Shirakawa-san, please. I am from JSDF. I am DG of the Grand Staff Office. I would like to talk about the budget and also challenges toward 2027. I want to share with you 3 points. One is a security related 3 strategies, 5-year defense build-up. How are we going to go about way of thinking? And secondly, until 2027, what kind of major initiatives are we going to implement? And also, it's been 2 years, so up until the fiscal 2024, what we have done, and also for fiscal 2025, what would be the highlights for us? Firstly, regarding the ground self-defense forces, we have a 5-year build-up program, and I would like to give you the way of thinking for that. Ground self-defense forces, in order to fundamentally strengthen our capabilities, based on 3 documents, we are carrying out 3 initiatives. One is to strengthen ground self-defense capability. Second, strengthening Japan-U.S. alliance. And thirdly, strengthening collaboration with like-minded countries. As you know, perhaps JSDF have about 150,000 members. It is the biggest service as a self-defense forces. We have a battle related battle support and also logistical support, and we have a diverse functions and equipment. We have 16 different job types, and in order to strengthen ground self-defense forces, we have to link all these functions organically, not only improving equipment but also to nurture human resources. Based on these characteristics, JSDF is trying to pursue joint operation and Japan-U.S. cooperation in 7 areas under Defense Build-Up Program. We are now trying to build up in these 7 areas, and also our counterpart is not only Army but also Marine Corps as well. We are trying to strengthen collaboration with these services, and through that we want to improve deterrence and response capability and effectiveness thereof. And a major initiative until 2027 and what we have done until this year. Firstly, regarding standoff defense capability strengthening until 2027, we are going to introduce Type 12 surface ship guided missiles, improved version, and develop high velocity gliding projectile, and also develop HGVs. And 3 types of guided missiles, we have started R&D in these areas. Regarding troops, we have going to have 7 surface-to-ship missile regiments. At the end of last year, Katsuren Camp, we introduced 1 regiment. And next month, Yufuin Camp, we are going to have another 7th surface-to-ship missile regiment. Regarding the strengthening unmanned asset defense capabilities, by fiscal 2027, information collection and surveillance and monitoring. In addition to that, we are going to introduce various types of unmanned aerial vehicles. So far, we had infantry troops. We had a UAV for narrow vision, a UAV general purpose version, for information collection and surveillance monitor, and we introduced UAV for mid-range for reconnaissance. And also, in order to increase mobile deployment capability, transportation capability has to be increased. And also, we would like to reduce the transportation burden as well simultaneously. In October last year, Nihonbare, in November, Yoko, 2 transportation vessels were launched. By the end of this fiscal year, we are going to launch new joint marine transportation units. And going forward, we are going to acquire transportation vessels in the future. In addition, in order to reduce burden for transportation, we are going to stockpile supplies in remote islands as well. Lastly, for sustainability and resiliency increase, by fiscal 2027, we are going to increase the number of ammunitions available, promote arsenal, and also the command operation to be underground. More specifically, some arsenals and also Kyushu Nansei command have a underground function, but we are going to further strengthen this feature. Now, the important feature of budget for fiscal 2027, this fiscal year, GSDF is going to prepare for the production of the hypervelocity HVZs, and also acquire upgraded version of 12 type surface-to-ship missiles, and also high-velocity gliding projectiles to defend remote areas. We are going to strengthen standoff defense capabilities, which will be a core defense capability of the future, and also for common tactical tank will be acquired in order to respond to increasing threat in land and cyber area. Also, we are going to make maximum use of existing equipment so that we have operational availability enhancement, and also to secure ammunitions and make defense facilities more resilient. In addition, we are going to introduce new policies to nurture human resources. More specifically, we are going to improve working and living environment. We are going to make our workplace more attractive. And in order to build desirable security environment, defense exchanges and joint exercise and drill will be made more sophisticated. In fiscal 2025, GSDF's 165th camp will be created in Saga. Lastly, as I said, the Defense Build-Up Program, this fiscal 2025 is year 3 of the program. So based on this program, we have secured necessary and sufficient budget. Therefore, we are going to steadfastly implement measures to improve fundamentally our defense capabilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shirakawa-san. At the ground self-defense force, as planned, various equipments are developed, deployment is promoted. Not only that, the operation of equipment, like you are upgrading the forces, also the resilience is being worked. Thank you very much for your presentation. Next, I'd like to ask Hirata-san to talk from the Maritime Self-Defense Force. I am Hirata. I am the manager. I am the Director General of the Bureau. I'd like to explain, before explaining the budget, I would like to talk about the Maritime Self-Defense Force. What are we trying to do? First, I'd like to make an introduction of what we aim to do. As you may know, at Maritime Self-Defense Force at the end of last year, the basic doctrine was announced. It is not an inside document. It is uploaded on our website. So it is made public to outside world. So in this, what we say is that as a maritime self-defense, or what do we want to achieve? There are 3 major points. The first one is the territorial water and surrounding waters must be protected, defended. If our country is invaded, we will fight against it and repel it. The second one is ensuring the safe maritime navigation, especially for a country like Japan. Tankers and other vessels are very important. So they are supposed to be able to navigate with a peace of mind. This is another objective that we must protect. The third one is a creation of desirable security environment. All countries will act based upon the rules so that they can navigate freely and with a peace of mind. We would like to create the maritime security environment as such. These are the 3 major objectives that we wish to achieve. So, in order to achieve these 3 objectives, we carry out 3 activities. The first one is the creation of environment for our country's peace and safety. It shouldn't be threatened. So peaceful environment must be continuously upgraded. For example, international rescue, search and rescue, or defense exchanges, or capacity building. These would fall under this one. The second one is peacetime activities. For our peace and security, we must prevent the occurrence of such event. So activities must be carried out in peacetime to enable that. For example, in the surrounding sea areas, we will do the patrol and the surveillance in Indian Ocean or in other areas. Piracy must be worked, and with the allies and like-minded countries, we will have the joint exercise. The third one is the reaction to the contingency. If a threat comes to Japan, then if our country is invaded, it must be repelled. We must react. We must respond to the situation, contingent situation. These are the 3 objectives and 3 activities to attain them. are carried out by Maritime Self-Defense Force. I just wanted to introduce this before talking about the budget. In order to achieve this, for the 2025, fiscal 25, we have two main axes in enhancing the defense capability. The first one is the current equipment has to be utilized at the maximum level. Maximum utilization of the available equipment. The ships and aircrafts must be operable. If they malfunction, it has to be repaired. We must reduce such situations. So the ships and aircrafts that we possess now must be available all the time. It is called enhanced operational sustainability. Availability. So ammunitions and ammunitions must be ready in place. Every time it has to be available. So resilience must be introduced to major defense facilities. So in normal times, we work on upgrading the situation. We will have a better preparation so as to enhance deterrence, and we will be able to promptly react to all kinds of situations. Especially in a sustainable way, we must be able to respond to the situation. This is the first axis. The second axis is the response to new way of warfare. That is the creation of JJOC, unmanned assets, as well as a standoff operation. So with these items, we will be upgrading the level of what we can do in order to support these all the very fundamental human resources must be strengthened together with the measures taken by the ministry as a whole. Here, I would like to talk about the maximum utilization of the current equipment. In order to make the maximum utilization in the budget for upcoming fiscal year, we must have the operational availability upgraded. So the expenses for testing, the expenses for repair, and for the acquisition of ammunition, the items are incorporated into the budget request. So as for the resilience for the facilities, ports must be upgraded, and ammunition-related facilities must be upgraded. The aged facilities must be worked. We must enhance the ability of protective capability. So we will have the structural strengthening of the buildings, reallocation of the buildings, and so forth. Together with that, the major commands would be translocated to underground so that there will be better resilience of the command and control system. Also, in order to enhance the base patrol, the illegal drones must be detected, identified, and must be worked at. So we are upgrading the drone-related equipment, new equipment. Furthermore, regarding the construction and production of major equipment from fiscal 24, we have begun the creation of a Mogami-type frigate, 3 of them. So 9th vessel, the submarine, 1 submarine is included. Aircrafts, P1, 2 P1 aircrafts, SH-60L with the fixed, that P1 is a fixed wing, and the SH-60L is a fixed wing patrol planes. So budget is requested regarding those aircrafts. Next axis is the response to the new way of fighting. First is regarding standoff defense capability. Regarding standoff defense capability, Type 12 land to sea guided missile performance enhanced type. So that is acquired, and in order to make it our equipment, there has to be some expense for retrofit. There has to be an expense for acquiring the submarine-launched guided missiles, as well as Tomahawk launch-related expense are included, especially regarding Tomahawk launch function. Aegis vessel has to have that function, so that expense is incorporated. At the end of 2025, we will be completing such events. The next one is the integrated anti-missile defense capability upgrading. So the guided missiles have to be acquired. Aegis system installed vessel has to be upgraded. There has to be further research regarding Aegis. Fire control network. So it is fire control network. FC network has to be upgraded. There are items requested as budget items, especially the ballistic missile defense guided missiles. We will acquire SM-3 Block 2A. Also in fiscal 27 and 28, we will have the commissioning of one Aegis system installed vessel, each of them, and the launching experiment expenses included. Also, real-time information has to be shared. Real-time FC network, fire control network is going to be acquired anew. This network will started from for the last 8 years. So we will have the long-range guided missiles will be operated in an effective way. Also, in electronic warfare, we will detect a certain information, and then we will share it so that ship will select the optimum system to counterattack. So this would be made available. So unmanned missiles, UAV, this is the airborne UAV, as well as small-scale UAV acquisition is included into our budget request. For the patrol and surveillance, we will be able to do it, and we will minimize the human attrition. MQ-90 Sea Guardian is going to be acquired, and the ground operation manipulation equipment must be procured, and the items are included in the request. Regarding the surface ship installed UAV, small UAV, we will be able to enhance our ability to patrol and surveillance, as well as information gathering. Now, we are going to do the organizational restructuring in order to enable all those enhanced defense. The names are temporary, but there will be surface ship fleet newly created. They will be very agile, and the surface ships must be operated. We will have a system which will enable the sustainable operation. It's going to be a simple command and control. There will be the minesweepers, as well as the locally belonged forces will be reorganized to comprise of this new fleet. Another thing is the new creation of the information gathering group. Including the cognitive domain, we will have to collect the information at a very fast pace. Fast decision making must be done. Information, cyber, communication, the maritime climate information, those functions and abilities must be held by the new forces, new group. So the submarine support group, the information group, as well as the system communication group, or the patrol units under the regional command system would be integrated so that they will be reorganized as the information operational group. Lastly, looking toward 2027, what are the challenges? For Maritime Self-Defense Force, one major issue is the ensuring human resources. it's a very tough situation. Recruiting is very difficult, especially the ships have a very difficult environment for work environment. So treatment has to be improved, and there has to be the improvement of various conditions for the people aboard the ships. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Regarding human resources base, I would like to come back to you with a question later on. Hirata-san talked about the maximum use of existing equipment and also the way of fighting a new war that is making a progress, and there is going to be a major organizational change this year. Lastly, I would like to invite Kubota-san from ASO. I am Director General from EASO. Now, fiscal 2025 budget bill, what is emphasizing that, and also toward 2027, what are the challenges we are facing? This is the topic I am going to address. So I would like to focus on two major issues or themes in my presentation. Regarding the first one, that is a space domain-related ASDF's initiatives. The other topic is a F-35B introduction. First topic, space domain-related initiatives on our part. As a ASDF, I would like to explain the history of our efforts in this area. In 2008, Basic Act on Space was established, and there has been a greater possibility of utilizing space in relation to security. And as a result, ASDF have conducted various studies. And after that, in 2020, we newly set up a Space Operations Squadron, and in 2022, we newly created Space Operation Group. And from March 2023, we started operating SDA, what we call SDA, that's a Space Domain Awareness. So we started SDA operation in 2023 March. Regarding SDA, what this means is the space objects' position and trajectory thereof can be captured. In addition to that, we are able to capture the operation and intention and capability of such space objects. That is what we are aiming at. During the period of current defense build-up program, we are going to promote the development steadily of SDA architecture and also establish a specialized space domain missions unit commanded by a general. And we are going to reorganize ASDF into air and space self-defense forces. Now, major initiatives for fiscal 2025. In order to respond to the threat to stable use of space, we are going to abolish Space Operations Group. And about 670 strong, although this is a tentative name, we are going to newly create a space operation team with 670 people or so. Regarding SDA, in fiscal 2027, since we are going to newly create a space operation team, tentatively called, and we are going to increase our ability to capture SDA from the Earth. And in 2026, we are going to launch SDA satellite so that we can obtain capability to grasp the space situation from the orbit. Regarding space, there is another important point. In space, we have to strengthen collaboration with various players, various parties, including allies and like-minded countries, JAXA, and private sector companies. The cooperation with these players is indispensable. And as ASDF, we are sending our personnel to JAXA so that we can have a better coordination for SDA. Now, in March 2023, in conjunction with the start of SDA operation that I mentioned earlier, we are providing information related to space debris and also the information close to the satellites which are being operated by private sector companies. So we are providing such information regarding rendezvous and proximity information to private sector company. In October 2023, we opened a space cooperation office, so not limited to space domain. Through various events, we are having a closer exchange of views in a broad way with industry, academia, and government. Through such discussion, we would like to improve our capabilities of the country as a whole when it comes to space. Now, in December last year, the U.S. Space Forces Japan was launched. This new creation contributes to deterrence and response capability of Japan-U.S. alliance. It will be created at Yokota base, and as a result, we will be able to have a face-to-face better coordination. Also, we will be able to have a communication which is not affected by time difference. This will, I'm sure, contribute to smoother coordination between us. Also, in terms of international cooperation, allies and like-minded countries, including the U.S., we have a high-level exchanges. In December 2023, we participated in multilateral CSPO initiative, that is a combined space operations. We participated in this initiative and participated in discussion regarding the necessary operation, architecture, and legal challenges related to space security. And we have been making an active contribution to the stable use of space. Also, the U.S. hosts Global Sentinel exercise and also Shriva war game, and France hosts Asterix exercise, and we are participating in these exercises not only with the U.S. but also with many other countries. We are increasing our cooperation. Through such activity, we will be able to contribute to the formation of a space domain-related security environment and improve deterrence capability to new threats in space domain. So this has been about the space domain effort. Next topic is introduction of F-35B. F-35B, let me explain the history of the introduction of this system. In 2018, the Ministry of Defense decided to introduce 42 short takeoff and vertical landing aircrafts. After that, we selected types of aircrafts and decided to introduce F-35B. In Miyazaki Prefecture, we are going to establish two air squadrons in Niitabara Kichi in Miyazaki. The significance of introducing F-35B is that in addition to low observability, it has a way sophisticated and advanced system compared to a conventional fighter aircraft. So we will be able to maintain air supremacy. Unlike F-35A, which is already operating, short take-off and landing and vertical landing is possible. And we are going to mainly use operating airbase, but depending on situation, we will use short takeoff and landing site and also use vessels for this aircraft. So our operation will be multifaceted and more flexible. Now, deployment plan for fiscal 2025. In the beginning, we were supposed to introduce 6 of them in fiscal 2024. However, due to delay of development of software, the deployment will be delayed to fiscal 2025. But on the other hand, tentatively, F-35B Air Squadron will be introduced at the end of 2024. Also, in relation to this, there is another topic. This is about MSDF frigate Kaga, F-35B ship-based operation. From October to November last year, we tested F-35B with JS Kaga off San Diego of the United States. And on this test, the ASDF personnel participated, and we were able to learn lessons for the future carrier-based operation of this aircraft. Now, carrier-based operation, the significance of that is that it will be able to have operational flexibility of fighter aircraft using aircraft, and we will be able to respond to diverse duties. So in this test, we were able to make a step closer to operational flexibility of fighter aircraft. Through such activities, we will be able to realize free and open Indo-Pacific at the end. This concludes my presentation regarding space domain and also our efforts in introducing F-35B. So as ASDF, in whatever scenarios that would happen, we would like to protect lives of Japanese people. From space and air, we are going to meticulously improve our defense capability based on the plan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kubota. F-35A, you have a qualification to operate that. F-35A and B, the operation is different. How difficult is it to nurture a pilot?
From my part, I have been reported that from F-35A to F-35B, when we transfer pilots from one to another, we use simulator. And currently, it is quite easy to move one aircraft to another, F-35A to B. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From your explanation, I'd like to question 2-3 questions. In the pamphlet of MOD, everything is proceeding as planned, largely. So there are some parts not proceeding as planned. So NDS, about 2 years ago, it was decided by the cabinet. Of course, there may be things proceeding smoothly and not proceeding smoothly. There may be some obstacles happening, even in the secular world. We have depreciated yen and so forth. So I have a question to Mr. Matsuo. If, in order to achieve 2027 target, what are the causes hampering your efforts? Can you talk about it?
Thank you for the question. We have a 5-year program for defense build-up. Based on that, we are developing our defense capabilities. In the new year, which starts April 2025, is the midpoint of that program. And Ministry of Defense made an announcement regarding the budget for that year. And such a defense build-up program is, generally speaking, making a progress according to the ministry's report. Basically, it says generally and largely it is making a progress. I think we are working quite good, and I think the steady progress is being made, definitely. That's for sure. However, as you said earlier, the prices have risen, and also imported goods due to exchange rate, we suffer as well. But 5-year program is there. That means that in the meantime, even if there is an economic shift and the impact, we are going to make our efforts. And for instance, we are going to introduce mass procurement to enjoy economies of scale. So we are now trying to increase efficiency of procurement as well, and we are making a rationalization effort as well. So the first and foremost, we have to make our own efforts to cope with difficulty. Then what is the stumbling block? What is hampering our effort? If you ask that, I think we'll be able to know later, not now. So when we find some stumbling blocks, we have to address that. But we can say that we are making progress as planned. In fiscal 2027, we'll be able to achieve our target of 2027. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, there are certain unsure points regarding defense capability upgrading. Now, next, I'd like to ask panelists questions regarding human resources. According to the Yomiuri Shimbun report, the Nansei Islands defense is important, but there is a new threat coming. That is the difficulty of recruitment, and you have to face a fierce competition against the private sector. As the statement also mentioned, recruitment reached only half of what it planned. So if it continues, the force capability, force scale would be halved. But it's difficult, I know, but I think it is very difficult if the recruitment is only half achieved. Regarding the difficulty of recruitment, how is it how are you working? What are the improvements that you can achieve, ground and maritime? First, Shirakawa-san, I'd like to ask you a question. You came from the ordinary department, so you know the importance of human resources. I'm sure you are seeing the difficulty. How is the situation?
As far as JSDF is concerned, human resources is the basic asset for us. The strengthened human resource base is very important, as I explained earlier, and this is the basic tenet that is supporting our defense build-up. As was explained, in Japan too, population is declining and also population is aging, and there is a declining birth rates, and therefore the candidate pool is shrinking as well. And this trend will accelerate in the future. There will be a competition for getting people in the future. And in fiscal 2023, GSDF recruitment plan achievement rate, we had a 60% for general people and 30% or less for SDF personnel. Therefore, this is very daunting situation. Another point you identified, that is the retirement or the leaving SDF personnel in mid-career. In fiscal 2023, about 6,000 people left job as a SDF as a whole, and this tendency is increasing in recent years. And however, ground self-defense forces have to respond to new ways of fighting. Therefore, we have to secure highly skilled personnel. And also, we are hoping that those who have retired in mid-career can come back to our work so that we can stably secure necessary human resources. Firstly, what we have to prioritize as a measure is that including compensation and treatment, we have to make the job more attractive. And firstly, GSDF personnel are protecting the country and the people, and this is a highly significant job, and people have to understand this. That's very important. And in addition to that, not only recruitment effort, but also improving treatment, including compensation and also prevention prevention of harassment and also improvement of working conditions. We have to continuously and meticulously make efforts on these fronts, particularly the living and working condition improvement. We have to maintain the environment for people to protect the people. However, at the same time, we have to create environment that is more amenable to young people in Japan. Also, we need to nurture specialized people. We have to concretize a career path, and we have to enrich our training and education program. That is also important. In any case, we would like to introduce various necessary policies and measures.
The 60% for the general SDF members, and also the 6,000 people left SDF as a whole. It's a formidable number. So people comprise the ground force. So I hope that you work very hard on this. Next, same question. I have a question to Hirata-san. According to the media report, maritime SDF is least popular amongst young people of 3 services. In addition, for the last couple of years, there are more requirements for patrol and surveillance works. So there is an increased stress on the fleet, and yet the fleet has a problem replenishing and filling the vacancy. How are you coping with the situation? I think Japan Coast Guard has the same problem. The sea situation is not popular among young people. Thank you very much. So from a great senior of MSDF, it was mentioned that Maritime Self-Defense Force is the least popular. I now see the seriousness of this problem. Yes, it is right. I don't know whether you can say least popular, but from young people, they try to avoid working with the Maritime Self-Defense Force. The biggest reason is that ship, it has a very special environment. That's where your work is. You have to work in a special environment. In the audience, maybe you have the experience of aboard the vessels, but for those people who have not aboard those ships, you will not understand the difficulty of the environment. So inexperienced young people, when they come to ship for the first time, they are stunned. And is it the environment where I have to work? I think that is the biggest wall. Naturally, it is a ship, so there are various equipments. And then you work and you live in an environment, the space is very limited. Space is so small. And in the past, the young people had at least experience of living with a lot of people. You are thrown into a big room with a lot of people. And also, if a ship is on the sea for a long time, you have to live together with other people on the sea. It means that the work environment and the living environment are the same. For example, normally, if you work on ground, if you work in ordinary companies, at the job place, of course, you have hard time. But once you leave and you go home, and then your warm family is waiting and you can relax. But if you are in the ship, you are working, and at the same time, the same space is occupied by the same people that you work with, even you want to relax in a private situation. So that's the situation. So this serves as a great hindrance to the recruitment. So bearing those in mind, as far as MSDF is concerned, we thought it was granted. It was seafarers' life. It's taken for granted. But we have to make a leap forward, and we have to come up with the new systems. Upon the sea, at sea, you cannot have a smartphones, you don't have the radio waves. But now we have the commercial satellite communication. So you are at the sea, but you can use your smartphones, and we want to establish a system enabling that. Of course, you have some concerns: secrecy, confidentiality. How do you protect the confidentiality and so forth? Of course, we will educate them, and we will have a very strict rules. And once we decide on that, then we can have the communication available. This is not something that we can do right away, but for the newly commissioned ships, the living quarter had the 3-tier beds or 2-tiered beds, but beds could be changed into capsule hotel-like specifications. So the space is limited. It's small, but you can ensure your private space, and then you can really have the private space although you are at sea. I think that is what we can do. On ground, you have the education training schools and so forth. We will introduce partitions so that individuality would be respected. That's what we want to do going forward. Together with those measures, at sea for many days you have to work. That's the environment. So we have to work on improving the treatment conditions, improving the communication environment, living quarters, workplace conditions. They must be improved. By doing so, many people would want to work in MSDF and not leaving the SDF at mid-career. We want to create such an environment. Also, regarding new recruits, we want to collect as many as possible. So we would like to communicate to the outside world. At the outset, I talked about the basic doctrine, and we have made this doctrine announced and available to the outside world because we wanted other people to understand what we do. A lot of recruitment methods are used. Once again, this is a kind of advertisement. Coming March on the 8th and 9th, it is a weekend, we will have a fair at the Roppongi Hills of MSDF. And mainly we are targeting young people. Most probably from you. Maybe it is a little distorted. It is geared toward soft approach, soft appeal to the young people. This is, please do understand, we wanted to appeal to the young people. We want the young people to understand what SDF is all about. This is an event. If you are interested, please come. And please bring your young people with you to come to Roppongi Hills this coming weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for explaining very much in detail how you are struggling. From the policy perspective, what's the human resource issue? How are we going to treat SDF officers? Director General mentioned, and also the Ministry of Defense think that this is a top priority and urgent issue. And if I supplement, in conjunction with the social changes, we have to create a working environment conducive. A major part of that fact is the compensation salary of SDF personnel. That is one point. So in the New Year's budget, the various improvement in terms of treatment will be introduced, and also in mid to long term, we have to design the system. For the next few years, we are going to study what's best, but Japanese government employees, based on the law, have a fixed progressive compensation structure. So it's like a table. You can see. So we are going to review this system so that we can raise the compensation as a whole. We are going to change the design of the system, and the working environment of SDF personnel is sometimes very, very challenging. Therefore, we have to consider that difficulty of working environment, and that should be reflected in compensation. And private companies are increasing wages as well, so we should keep pace with that. Thank you.
Thank you. From this point onward, probably we will continue asking questions, including questions from the floor. Now, talking about human resources, highly skilled human resources, Kubata-san and Minamikawa-san, I'd like to ask both of you. At SDF, as was explained, in variety of fields, you are expanding your activities. Highly skilled people are needed, and highly potential people are needed. Human resources needs are increasing in the private sector, so you will be competing against the private sector. And then, in terms of the salary, SDF is less favored. So there is a question regarding cyber. Minamikawa-san, you are increasing the cyber defense. This is a national level challenge, and of course, you have to upgrade the level. De-risking is another challenge. So cyber human resources, are you going very smoothly with training them, including the counter-terrorism? Can you talk about it? Thank you very much. Now, eventually 4,000 people will be the workforce for the cyber. So they are the core people. By 2027, we will have the scale of 4,000 people scale. So these are the people who will be the core personnel, and we have to recruit and we have to nurture them with high potential and high skills. And regarding that, it is proceeding rather smoothly as planned. During this fiscal year, SDF's cyber protection troops, new 40 people have joined, and the necessary human resources are nurtured and trained from the existing organizations of self-defense force. On the other hand, as was mentioned, the competition against the private sector for human resources, it is going to be tougher and tougher going forward. So we have to secure and we have to train them. We have to have programs to do that. It is an urgent task for us. For your reference, I will say that last year in July from MOD, Cyber Human Resources Comprehensive Strategy, it is a document issued by MOD. In this document, various measures are introduced, and it will be tested and verified in ensuring the human resources, it says. For example, as for the past measures, career path of cyber personnel must be implemented. Not when you take the exam. From the starting point, you will be only doing cyber-related works, and it will be designated and thereby ensuring such human resources. Or the cyber SDF members in reserve. So that could be the system. They could exist in the private sector, and then in contingency they can come and work with us. Also, we have an advanced school of SDF, and we can strengthen the education there. Defense College can have the education there, and also we have the basis for training. So we have we are working on strengthening the training regime available in the schools attached to various services. Now, cyber field human resources would come not only from SDF. I think in the Japanese society as a whole, the importance of such officer is increasing. That is what we realize. Because of that, we talk about competition with the private sector. But personally, I don't think it's competition. It is cooperation with the private sector, so that the entire level of our country as a whole could go higher and higher. The measures to enable that would be the replenishment of cyber SDF staff members in reserve, or we can liaise with the various education organizations so that our people can be trained in these private sector training organizations. Or revolving door could be realized in the future for a certain period of time. For example, you work at SDF and you acquire skill, and then the career path is well diversified these days. So once you want to leave SDF for once, maybe there are people like that, and then they can come back eventually later on. We can have a system like that, and in the future we can have the circulation of the personnel in the field of cyber involving SDF. Having said so, we are, after all, SDF, and we need incentives for that people, so that people can stay and remain with SDF. Now, cyber is a very special world, and the people want to be active in that particular world. They want to test their own skills in the particular world called cyber. In the case of SDF, we have a joint exercise with various forces of various countries. There is education opportunities at the world's top level people. You can really have a friendly competition with the top level people so that you can polish your skill. We can communicate such availability, and then we can ensure good amount of recruits. Thank you very much. Now, the cyber SDF officer in reserve. Maybe there can be some risks about that. So you talked about a revolving door. It's a revolving door, so you can go and come and go, come and come back, go and come back between private sector and the SDF. Kubota-san, very aggressively, Air SDF is expanding your activities. Highly skilled human resources. You have the fiercest competition against the private sector. Air SDF in ensuring highly skilled human resources. What is your idea?
Thank you for the question. As ASDF, IT and cyber and space, in these areas, we need a highly skilled human resources. This is urgently required. And the treatment of these human resources, as Director Matsuo mentioned, the ministry as a whole is now trying to improve the treatment of personnel. Now, regarding personnel system, in the ASDF, we are introducing a new personnel system to recruit new people. For example, the career executive system is used in order to secure people. What this means is, in university, those who graduated from departments in accordance with the qualification requirements and have related work experience. These are the target people, and people can use their experience to become high-ranking officers of SDF. Regarding the areas of recruitment is security and also R&D of equipment and cyber security, information and communication. And as I said in the beginning, regarding space, R&D and analysis, these are the areas we target for this career track. And there is another system. This is not the whole for high-ranking officers. We have an engineers system, and the national license required by the SDF. However, that license is difficult to acquire, or that there are little number of license holders. We try to recruit the talent who can work from day one. And the qualification for this job in terms of cyber, CISSP, and also information processing safety officer, and also regarding the maintenance of aircraft, the class 1, class 2 aviation maintenance requirement, and also for hygiene, emergency rescuer. These are the target recruitment areas. Regarding space, in addition to securing human resources, we have to nurture human resources. In my initial presentation, we work with U.S. forces. We receive cooperation from U.S. forces, but for instance, the U.S. forces have a space education course, including basic course and also space intermediate course. So we dispatch our existing ASDF personnel to these courses, and we also let them participate in various exercises in order to gain space-related skills. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, strengthening human resources, there is a question. Now, what is the satellite? Satellite? No, health-related defense. No one talked about it. I think regarding the health-related function in the NDS, for the first time, it is adopted. How are you going to work on it? Now, healthcare. It's not satellites, it's healthcare, it's medical healthcare, health-related function enhancement. As MOD, for some time, we have been, it's not a flashy subject, but we've been working on it. But in terms of flow of events, there are several directions. One is that at warfare, you are injured, then you have to treat them on the spot. So, injured soldier, and if there is no longer operative, he has to be sent back to the to the base. So we have to have a speedy system of carrying such a person. At the battlefield, treating such a wounded soldier for the last couple of years, the system was supposed to be improved within. It is the war battle. Injured treatment. So we should be working on battle injured treatment. Usually you have a medic along with the force. So medic personnel is with that, and that measures could be expanded, and equipment should be upgraded so that a lot of things can be brought into. So on the spot, we can expand the range of what can be done. So injured person will have to be transferred backward, and in the hospital, he or she will have to be treated. Again, a lot of time will be spent. SDF hospital system is reformed. So we have some unit hospitals, and once such a person is carried, most of the treatment is possible, so centrally organized hospitals. For example, within Tokyo, Sasakawa ward, we have a central hospital of SDF. Amongst the SDF hospitals, this is one of the largest hospitals, so such function can be enriched. Maybe you haven't seen it, but if you go there, it's a very beautiful, clean hospital. A long time ago, I was treated there. Compared with the time I know, the function and scale have been upgraded. There are many facilities introduced, so hospitals are upgraded. Then every year budget, how budget would reflect the need for health care? Well, of course, we are working on expanding the functions available in various hospitals, and we will continue our efforts. Another point, for example, in the case of Air Defense Force, containers are stored in aircraft. And then treatment unit can be put in a container. So the treatment chamber is actually on board the aircraft. And then the aircraft can carry such a chamber to the site. Or in the case of maritime self-defense force, in the case of large ship, operating theater is located within the ship. In the case of ground self-defense force, it began with a big organization, so it has the medical force and the emergency force. So we will render very solid education to the people so that the medics function can be substantiated. Every year for the budgetary request, we solidly request and accumulate such amount of money.
Thank you very much for responding to a question from the floor. There is another question we received. It's about Permanent Joint Operations Command. The question is addressed to Minamikawa-san. The act of establishment of the Ministry of Defense was revised. By the end of this fiscal year, Joint Operations Command will be established in Ichigaya. Preparation is underway. In the beginning, there will be 204 people working in this command, but it's difficult to secure this many people. And I was at the Joint Staff Office when it was reorganized, so I know from my experience that establishing a new organization requires a lot of effort. What is the current state of preparations, and what is the challenges you are facing? Thank you. Earlier in the beginning, I gave you explanation regarding the establishment of Joint Operations Command, which will be established at the end of March this year. And the ministry as a whole, and SDF included, we are making a ministry or SDF-wide effort. We are working as one, as I said. Now, the 3 security documents were formulated, and since then, 2 years, which is a short period, in this 2-year short period, we decided to establish a Joint Operations Command, which has a heavy responsible, and for that, I understand a lot of efforts were required and many difficulties that were faced. That is true. And I am not going to enumerate one by one these challenges we faced, but basically, or how can I say, the status of preparation is going forward as planned. It's very steadfast progress. The recruitment of people who will be working in the command, and also facilities to be created and various systems are introduced. There are many, many things that we have to do, but we are making steady progress one by one. There are teams who are responsible for each different assignment. So we are not facing any major problem because we have less than 1 month to go. We are not facing a difficult challenge at this point in time. That is my recognition. Then what is that may be challenge, if any, as you said. As I said in the beginning, the establishment itself is not the end of the effort. After the establishment of the command, we have to make sure that the command will be fully functional. For that purpose, each and everyone belonging to the command has to play their own role, assignment, improve their skills, and improve their ability further. That would lead to the capacity improvement of the organization as a whole. So we have to make sure that would happen. So with the cooperation from many related people, we would like to make a steadfast progress.
Thank you. To create something new is very challenging. I hope that it will be completed as planned. We have received English questions from the floor. I think this question presupposes a Taiwan contingency. In the American strategic community, the Taiwan contingency is the probability is increased. Now, what is the item to be worked at as MOD in the case of Taiwan contingency? What is the largest item? We talk about the Taiwan contingency. That's a phrase. Media talks about it. But as far as MOD is concerned, we are not discussing anything on hypothesis. It's very difficult to respond to hypothetical question, but what I have to say is that Taiwan Straits, peace and stability thereof is very important, not only for our security, but for the peace and stability of the whole world. In a peace way, Taiwan-related problems should be resolved. That is what we are hoping for. It is the reply that we have been saying. Generally speaking, the security environment is becoming so tough regarding Japan, so we have to secure the life and safety of the people and land of Japan. That is the foremost thing. So irrespective of any place like Taiwan or wherever, we will have the system in place so that we shall protect the lives and safety of our citizens. Normally, the dear audience, you might have read the media activities, military-related activities happening in the surrounding area. MOD is communicating that proactively from a joint Chief of Staff, Joint Staff Office. We are making announcement regarding the activities of Chinese vessels or North Korean missiles or Russian aircraft infiltration into our airspace and so forth. What is important is that we shouldn't be lax about our patrol and surveillance. Recently, the surrounding countries are very active. The surrounding countries are expanding the military system, and they are upgrading their military activities. Now, the arms expansion is not only the physical goods expansion, it also means the elevated level of activities. The domain of military activities used to be contained in such and such area, but it is expanding to larger area and domain. For example, Chinese activities, up until now, it was more or less along the coastal lines, but now they are going into the Pacific Ocean. Russia and China are collaborating and navigating surrounding Japanese archipelago. So we have to monitor, we have to survey, we have to have the solid surveillance so that we patrol the situation very clearly. So it's not limited to Taiwan contingency. It's difficult for me to respond on a question on Taiwan contingency, but from normal times, we will have our solid activities of surveillance and patrolling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last question from the floor. This is going to be I'm sorry, we cannot respond to all the questions we received, but Trump 2.0, maybe the impact thereof between the United States and Europe, there is a disalignment. And however, Japan is an important partner for both of them. So going forward, ally and the partners and like-minded countries, in which direction Japan wants to promote diplomatic defense diplomacy. So for uniform officers, Kubota-san, could you start? Thank you for the question. Allies and like-minded countries, that phrase was used. The cooperation with these countries is becoming more and more important, as you all are aware. And perhaps, and from joint staff perspective and also ground and marine staff office perspective and the policy perspective from Matsuo-san will speak. So I would like to talk about from air defense force perspective regarding the importance of working with allies and like-minded countries. This is sort of publicity. Last year, ASDF celebrated 70th anniversary as a commemorative event. The chairman of the chief of staff of each country was invited, and we had discussions and also improvement of trust-based relationship. And 19 countries sent chairman of the Joint Chief of Staffs. And in this way, we are solidifying our network, and that is very important for space and air defense.
Very briefly, defense exchange. So major generals of navies of various countries, I meet them. Indo-Pacific, I always tell them Euro-Atlantic and Indo-Pacific are inseparable. I always tell them about that. And then to this, many counterparts agree with what I say. For example, let me give you an example. Last year, many European countries have sent the fleet to Indo-Pacific and the surrounding Japan. So it is contributing to the deterrence of those areas. So we will upgrade the defense exchange so that not only for Japanese, but the global security environment is something that we want to contribute.
JSDF, I will be brief. In the beginning, I talked about the fundamental improvement of the ground self-defense forces. One is the strengthening ground defense capability and the strengthening of U.S.-Japan alliance and the strengthening of cooperation with allies and like-minded countries. The latter two are very important. Therefore, land power network is something we would like to create going forward.
Well, I'll be brief. Already everybody has said Europe, Atlantic, and Indo-Pacific, they are inseparable. And global security environment has all connections all over the world. I have interacted with many counterparts of various countries, and I share that recognition. So that is the recognition. So we will have the aligned perception, and then we will share the same values. The unilateral change of the status quo by force is not something to be tolerated. So we will show what we can do as the like-minded countries to the rest of the world. That is more important.
Thank you very much. Sorry for going overboard a little bit. This concludes panel discussion and Q&A session. Please give a big round of applause to the panel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the members of the panel. We would like to move on to closing remarks, so please wait on the stage.
それでは最後に
I would now like to invite Rear Admiral Yasuhiro Kawakami, Director and Senior Research Fellow at the Foundation, to give closing remarks. Thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend the first SPF Defense Dialogue, Enhancing Japan's Defense Capabilities and Challenges Beyond 2027. Also, I would like to thank the panelists who are all responsible for Japan's defense for taking part in the event despite their busy schedules. As Defense Minister Honda said in his keynote speech, and the panelists said as well, the current security situation is diverse and complex, and with authoritarian states, the attempt to unilaterally change the status quo by force and coercion, it is difficult to predict the future, and the situation is changing very quickly. From a military perspective, we are very happy to receive those who are responsible at the core of defense capability improvement, and I hope that many people will be able to learn more about the current state of Japan's defense and its future through the streaming of the event later on. In the case of Japan's allies and like-minded countries who share our values like the US and Australia, Southeast Asia, and Europe, active duty officers are actively speaking out at symposium, seminars, and dialogues. I sincerely hope that this dialogue today will be a catalyst for a change in that direction in Japan too. And building on this memorable first SPF Defense Dialogue, we hope to hold a second and third event going forward. For that to happen, we believe that we need the support and cooperation from the Ministry of Defense, as well as the support and encouragement of everyone who has participated today. So I ask for your continued support. With that brief remarks, I would like to close my closing remarks. Thank you for your attendance. Rear Admiral Kawakami, thank you very much. With this, we would like to close the first SPF Defense Dialogue, Enhancing Japan's Defense Capabilities and Challenges Beyond 2027, hosted by the Sasakawa Peace Foundation and supported by the Ministry of Defense. Regarding the ministry's brochures, you can I think you have already received in your packet you received when you came in, and please make sure to return the visitor's pass at the reception on the ground floor. Thank you very much for taking the time out of a busy schedule to come to the seminar. Once again, please make sure that you take everything with you. Thank you.